Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. This one is going to be different than my others because I'm not going to be talking about tools or anything like that. So I'm going to be kind of talking about an idea that I have, and it's not a new idea really, but it's my take on one. And at the end I'm going to kind of show some of the furniture that I designed and built behind this idea. So if you're not familiar with my social media stuff, or you just came in later and didn't get to the bottom of the pictures, with my degree I had to do a thesis, and that's what I want to talk about. So with the thesis, there's kind of some parameters that you have to work within, and first you have to establish an idea or a concept that will represent your thesis. You can't just make a bunch of stuff and then throw it in a gallery. You can't, it has to go deeper than that. And so once you have that idea, you build upon that. And the whole point is to eventually, at the end of the year, have a body of work that would fill a gallery, and then you throw that gallery, and if someone were to walk in and see the work that you've made, it would convey that idea that you've built, the whatever it may be, to represent it. And so when I moved back into my college apartment, I would spend night after night just drawing up ideas, and it was probably a week or two before school started I had this idea. So my thesis idea was kind of something that I got from my great-grandparents. They were a pretty big drive for this idea and for the style of furniture that I made. I remember when I was little, they would play me stuff from when they were younger, and I'd listen to things that a typical 6-year-old probably wouldn't want to listen. And that has a heavy influence on the music that I listen to today. And I just remember that it's truly amazing how a 6-year-old and someone in their 80s have just this way to connect with each other. That's music. And so I kind of wanted to roll with that because I've noticed that we're kind of at that gap again. So things like social media, phones, computers, the internet, whatever it may be, we've kind of distanced ourselves from each other, whether it be generational or just within our own generation. We don't know how to talk to one another. So I wanted to try to build an idea where there was a way to kind of bridge that gap, that distance that we've built inside ourselves. And just going back to that story, it's music. And why I picked music is because it's not just something to listen to. It is something that has ties to our emotions. It's something that when we go through hard times, there might be a particular song that when it came on the radio or played on a record that you have, it's meaningful, and it reminds you of something that was hard that you got through, or a loss that you're struggling with, but it helps you get through that loss. And it doesn't have to be sad either. It can be something that reminds you of just an incredible time that you love to listen to because it reminds you of something you spent with your mom or your dad or just a family member or friend, and whenever it comes on, you can't help but smile. And I wanted to take that feeling and create a space through a couch that I'm sitting on now, and a love seat, and a stereo system. And with that stereo system, I wanted to include all types of music players. So in it I've got a record player, an old receiver that I cleaned up, a reel-to-reel, 8-track, a cassette, and a CD player. And when people come into the gallery, I want them to see that. And so what I'm going to ask you, and what I've asked people before, and I will actually put a link in the description below on the original question that I asked people and had just an incredible participation. And I hope that this video will get that too. So my question for you is, what is your song? Whether it be something that just helped you get through a bad time, or something that just, when it comes on, you smile because it was one of the greatest memories you have. Please let me know what that song is and the story behind it. I'll be a little picky. I don't just want a song. It kind of defeats the purpose of this whole idea, is that the song is something that helps you share this story, whether it be something you've never told anyone before. So I'll give you an example, and I'll use me and my story in my songs. So this thesis was extremely overwhelming, and my granny had gotten pretty sick through it, and her and my grandpa were a big driving force in it. And so when she started going downhill and I was starting to get overwhelmed with school, it was overwhelming. And a few weeks before my thesis was supposed to be finished and thrown in a gallery, I got a call saying that she had passed. I looked at the stuff that I was working on, and in that moment I didn't know what to do. It didn't seem like I was going to get my stuff done in time. I had just lost my granny, and it was really, really hard. But aside from all the support that I got from just everybody through that time, there was two songs actually that got me through it. And it's from a local band in Cookeville, Tennessee, Judah and the Lion. If you've never heard of them, I'll try to put the links below to the songs, but they're just a really fun band. And two particular songs had come out. They were just about to release a new album, and the two in particular for me are Over My Head and Quarter Life Crisis. And so those songs, they kind of spoke to me. You know, I'm in my 20s, and I'm in that quarter life crisis of, I don't know what I'm going to do. If I even get this thesis done, I don't know what I'm going to do from there. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, where am I supposed to go from that? And then the thesis in itself, I'm looking at all these parts on the floor of things that are supposed to be finished, and they're not. And I just was swimming out, and I was in over my head is what it felt like. And probably up until the day that the show of my thesis opened, I felt that way. But I got through it, and so whenever I hear those songs, whether it be on the radio or just I pull a record out, they really just remind me of that time and how overwhelmed I felt then, but now it's just a good memory of, you know, I got through it, and that just makes me stronger than I was before. So if Judah and the Lion, if you come across this video for some reason, thanks guys for helping me out of that. So with that, I hope to read y'all's comments, and this isn't a video. I really just want to promote me or my work, or try to get subscribers. But I do want to ask, if you will, please share this video. You don't have to like the video, just get people to comment. It's important that we share things that are going on. How many times have someone asked you how you're doing today, and you just said, I'm doing great, but you weren't? I'll put the link to the original post on Facebook down below. Please read what people were putting, and how fast people that have never met each other connected on just a really deep level. So I'm going to show you guys the furniture now, and I can't wait to read some of the comments below. So let's look at some woodworking stuff. Alright, so here is what we called the Ark. And we called it this because it weighs over 400 pounds empty. Up top, got the record player with the record of the songs that I mentioned in the previous video, of just the songs that really got to me while I was doing this. Again, thank you, Jude, in the line. But back to this, it is a 10 speaker system. There's a mid-range and a tweeter on each panel, on the front and the back. And then 2 subwoofers angled at 45 degrees on each end. And so another cool little thing that I tried to incorporate is kind of a suspension system. You'll see a threaded rod that goes all the way down through the frame, and none of the shelves are actually touching. They have a bit of bounce, I guess. So with a knot completely secured to the frame, when you walk through the house, you're not going to bounce your needle from the record player. Now it all works. I'm going to try to kind of show you that without copyright infringement, but as you can see, the little needle's bouncing and jumping around for the 8-track, and then go to cassette, and then you see they're jumping still. And this was a really fun cleanup job for all of this stuff. It sounds really nice, just a warm feeling. The speakers are 200 watts, so it'll shake the walls. But this is it. It's walnut and then MDF with walnut veneer to kind of create the speaker box with those enclosed. But everything should work just like that. But that is the Ark. So here is just kind of a close-up of the love seat, some of the joinery in it. I've got a spline going through there to connect the arm to the leg. And then the back was a fun little thing. Move this out. So the trouble was trying to keep all the cushions to not move, but also it be as open as possible. The idea of my thesis was just to be open with each other through music as kind of that door. And I know it's dark, I apologize. Let me see if I can swing it out more into the light. Here is the back. Fun little joint. It was really fun to sand. Put it up underneath. Special thanks to my mom who made these cushions. All of this stuff was handmade. There was no CNC. There was no plans. Everything was drawn up, and if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you can see some of those drawings. No computer program, nothing. But that is the love seat. So here's the love seat without any cushions on, just so you can see the base. All these were hand set, hand tensioned with a little tack hammer and upholstery tacks. It has some rigidity, but not too much, so it kind of emulates springs. I haven't put springs in it. This is a super fun project. I really want to try to make something similar to it. I love the curves in it, and it's definitely not perfect. There's a little bit more into couch and love seats than I bargained for, so there's some things that I would definitely do different next time, but the year time frame to make both this, the love seat, or the couch, and the ark, I just was pressed for time. But that is basically the skeleton of it. So the couch is essentially the same thing, just longer. That is when a CAD program probably would have been pretty beneficial to just set parameters and then extend it. But drawing this full scale was not near as fun as I thought it would be. The joints turned out pretty alright. There's a little bit of gappage that I had to kind of fix, but all in all, it is pretty comfortable. It's a bit dusty, but it's got quite a bit of coats of wipe-on poly. The satin one, I don't do gloss. I'm not a fan of it. It just makes things look like plastic. If I wanted things to look like plastic, that's what I would have used. And I want the grain of the wood to do the talking. And so, just another detailed view of the joint was a bit of a challenge, but as far as I can tell, it's holding up quite well. I won't give away all my secrets, but that is it. Alright, that's it for the overview of my thesis idea. Please, again, leave a comment below what your song is and the story behind it. I loved reading them the first go around on this, and hopefully I can bring this back to life again. I know, again, 2020 has not been great, so I'm sure people have been looking for ways to get through it, and music is an outlet for a lot of people. So if you participated last time on Facebook, a few years have passed since that post. If you have a different song, please leave it below. If you want to share the same story again, that's perfectly fine too. Just as much involvement as possible to keep this going. And on a side note, sorry for the weird lighting. I put the room back together before I looked over the videos and realized that my last closing video was way out of focus. So I'm doing it propped up against the ark, and let me know what you think of the furniture, anything you'd like to see different. If you have any suggestions on maybe you should have gone this approach, I'm all ears. I'm still learning. I've got a long way to go as far as woodworking goes, but you guys are the people that are going to help me get there, just with your comments and your ideas. And just thanks again for all your support, and until next time, see ya.